What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day today. I'm excited to bring you the energetic weather. And today, I am just going to talk about Sun and Earth because Sun and Earth have went into new gates and they're going to be there for about 6 days. And so I'll bring the Sun and Earths on the first day and then I'll do the moons the following days. And that way, I'll just talk about 2 gates per video. And so today, with the sun going into gate 40, this is a heart gate. So this is a motor, and it's willpower. This is the gate of willpower. It's the gate of deliverance. This is a tribal type of energy. So it's all about supporting each other. It's all about maintaining the community. It's about a part seeking a whole. And so the sun and earth actually form an entire channel between the 40 and the 37. And it is the heart connected to the emotions. And so much of this is about family, friendship, love, feeding the family. Who can feed the family? Who has what it takes to get out there and fill up the refrigerator? And so maybe this week you're seeing big themes around friendship, family. What are our values? What are our principles? Are things changing? Do we need to change the rules to better take care of ourselves and our families? And I feel like right now we are at places like that. I think that a lot of people are looking around at their current situations like something's got to give, or we've got to make something pop, or we've got to change something. And so I think that life is taking us through its own changes, and maybe it's even giving us a new resource. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And so going into 40, this is the stream of sensitivity. When I say resources, so much of that is simply about food. And when you look at gate 40, it's like the gate of the stomach. The heart center is a very complex center, and it includes the thymus gland, it includes the stomach, the heart muscle, and the gallbladder. So this complexity, it's pushing information into our biology. It is moving information. It is giving us energy and willpower so that we can go out and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves and each other. Because the tribe must be fed. And as soon as we start getting into community, we're seeing children, we're seeing families, we are seeing people with real needs, and they need to have those needs met. And that's what this channel is all about. And so within this channel, it's so much about harmony, fairness, balance of job and family. It's looking to be treated well. It is about that harmony. Like the principles cannot endure. The values of the family cannot endure without that harmony. And so this willpower, it begins in the stomach. And the stomach cannot eat all day, right? The heart is an interesting motor because it happens in like pulses. It's like the emotional motor, that energy is a wave that lasts your entire life. But when it comes to the heart, it's beating because it can't hold a steady tone forever. And so it needs that space in between. So it's like we eat and then we digest and we rest and then we eat again and we digest and we rest. It's like work, relax, work, relax. And so that is what the heart needs. It cannot work all the time consistently. It needs its breaks so that it can go and rest and recharge itself. And then it also needs something else. It needs to be loved and appreciated. It needs to be needed. It needs people that are like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. You really fill up our fridge. Like, we're so grateful for you. And, we've got picture day coming up on Thursday, and I think we need some money for that, like maybe because you're so wonderful, you could help us earn what we need for picture day. It's like pumping these people up for doing what they do, for taking their willpower into the world, into, the material places so that they can bring that material back to the family. And so this work and relax, it can be really hard because maybe if someone only has a heart center, they're getting nagged. Like they come home and they're resting, or they're like playing video games or watching TV, and everyone's like around them, like poking them like, hey, can you get up? Like this needs done and this needs done and this, like, what are you doing? And what we need to understand is that if the heart doesn't rest, it can result in illness, like failure, like your motor can go out. We can have a heart attack. And so this motor, it literally needs the space in between. And if someone is functioning from that motor and you're not giving them that space, they are going to have to go somewhere that's healthier for them. And that can all happen under our conscious awareness. We don't even know what we're doing. We don't even know why they have to leave or why they can't work consistently, because we simply don't understand ourselves. And so it can be such a hard place, especially in marriage, if someone is functioning with only a heart center and they are not being seen for their differences and appreciated for their differences. It's funny. Ross says that unlike any other motor, this motor has the potential to take a vacation. So this one can just like pack up and go, and boom, your willpower is gone. And you're like, oh my gosh, right? And then you're forced to rest, or you're forced into your illness, or forced into whatever experience is going to allow you to start loving yourself and getting the rest you need and putting your foot down and standing up for the body that you are inside of, right? Because no one can come in there and be like, oh yeah, you definitely need a rest now, right? Like, you have to choose this body that you're in. And if you can do that and the people around you can support you in doing that, we can all learn a heck of a lot more about ourselves and our differences. And so this gate being called Deliverance, it responds to need. So it needs to be needed. And then once it responds to that need, goes out, gets it, delivers the abundance. And this is a will or a lack of will to provide for the needy. And so it's really interesting. This gate also has mystical potential outside of the mundane. With the mundane, you're expected to master the material plane, right? You're expected to know how to go out there and get that money and be that breadwinner to bring back those resources. And the mystical way, Jesus delivered people from their sins, right? And so he responded to their need and he delivered some type of abundance to them. I think there was another example, the Lord's Prayer, and how it talks about being delivered from evil. And so being delivered from something can be a highly mystical experience, and it can be up there with, enlightenment or Satori or any of these types of experiences. And it's interesting with the heart, it's about another, and maybe it's one of the only places that it's really like that. And so this gate is also a great gate of denial, both in terms of mundane and in terms of the mystical, because when it starts denying in the mundane sense, it's going to be like, I'm fine to be alone. I don't need you. And that's not true. It does need you, and you need it, and the community needs it, And so when it hits this place of denial, it's really just feeling like everyone always wants something from me. Like, why can't I have my relaxation? Why can't I just be alone for a while, and that's when they're going to start really putting that foot down. And what that denial can do is that it can carry them to a community that's going to appreciate them better or treat them better, or maybe they are freshly projecting upon this community. So they're like, oh yeah, this community is the better community, right? And so whatever, it gets moved. It gets moved to new people. It gets to try again. It gets to be tried to be better appreciated. And that movement is valuable for that person and for new community and for old community. All of the movement is valuable. And so let's see. On the mystical side, this gate can deny that there is anything more than what can be seen in this moment. So it can even deny spirituality altogether. I guess you can say that it would be denying quantum mechanics and a lot of these more subtle sciences, or breaking into energy. Maybe it could deny these things that can't be seen. And maybe that could also be purposeful in the way that it allows the person to go out and get those materials. I think all shadows are purposeful. I think all gifts are purposeful. I think all the ways that the energy can move and change and present itself can be purposeful. And so I never want you guys to see anything that I say as a bad thing, because it's not necessarily. And so today being a first line day, maybe if you are a breadwinner, maybe if you are supporting a breadwinner, maybe they're really contemplating today. First line is all about getting the foundation. So maybe we're thinking about things like, is it even worth it to go out there and work and bring back these resources? Like, do I have the time to do this every day? Do I make enough to get enough resources to sustain? Like, what is the point of doing this over it? So they're looking at willpower. They're like, is this valuable? Like, what does this do for me? Am I using it in the right way? Maybe they're out back taking a nap and they're like, I'm just not trying to work at all. You know, we are like getting our foundation on what it means to provide our willpower and be breadwinners and get the resources and all of those things. And so this is 40 and the earth is in 37. So this is where we're grounded at. And this is the other side of the channel. So it's an emotional channel. It's a wave of hope to pain. And it's called the family. It's also called the mouth. So this is the person that's kind of like grabbing onto the 40s like shirt. And they're like, hey, your stomach's always full. Like, fill my belly. You know, I need food. I need this. I want this. And they can get those resources by encouraging, supporting, appreciating the person at the other side, right? So that would be two people coming together with the two sides of the channel, and maybe that's kind of what that looks like. It's like emotional support and willpower support, bringing resources, pumping up willpower, and you're working together for the community, for the family, for the friend group, you know, whatever your tribe looks like. And so I love this description. It says the manifestation macro and microcosmically of the organic nature of communities, because truly life is the one that moves us. Like, I love that we're here today because I have been receiving so many issues around over responsibility for death and birth. Like, especially for women when it comes to birth. Like, we put all responsibility for birth on women. Like, women are the ones. And it's like, sure, their bodies deliver this child. But, like, people are taken when they are taken. They are delivered when they are delivered. There is a logical, like, precision to incarnating on planet Earth. And it's all purposeful. And it's like maybe you are going through IVF and you're blaming yourself about the fact that you cannot naturally have a child. Like, what if you could accept yourself just the way you are, you know, and you can keep going through your IVF, you can keep going for whatever you want and being whoever you want, but what if at the base of that, we could not blame it on you, that you were made like this, or that you became like this, right? That life took you to this place. Maybe we could see it as something that is for you instead of something that is bad about you. Right? And it's like on the other end, you might have a young woman who gets pregnant in high school. And it's like, oh my God, right? All of the responsibility, all the blame and the shame for this life coming into planet Earth is on this woman, this child. And it's like, what if that was purposeful? Like, what if people have sex because it's perfect? Like, what if this thing is so orchestrated that no one is doing anything wrong necessarily? And it's like, when you start to look at things like this, we can take off so much blame and shame, like based in gender by itself. And so that is something very interesting to think about. And so familiarity within the family recognized through touch and food. This is something that you are literally recognizing through the touch. So these are people, or this is an energy that's willing to embrace an outsider. It's like, come in, let's see who you are. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can bring to our community. And it can't know anything necessarily based on who it's willing to embrace. It's willing to embrace whoever will bring those resources, right? The awareness is in the touch. So it's like, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, you like, come into our community. And maybe as soon as you touch that person, you're like, you know, there's something there, or you're just like, oh, you know, like something's there. And maybe you're gaining information over time. And so there's an awareness here that you can become aware of who can provide and who cannot provide. And so maybe through that touch, you're picking that up. You're like, oh, I don't think this is the one this isn't the one we've been waiting for, you know, or maybe you're like, oh, like, we've been looking for you, you know, like maybe you're picking up on that subtle energy and you're gaining some type of awareness about who this person is or what they're here to do, or, you know, so forth and so on. And so this family, it is the foundation of community ethics and accomplishment. And the emotional support is what drives the will. And so friendship for a bargain, this is seeking loyalty. This is making promises. This is, I'm going to support you. You're going to do that. That's how this is going to work. And if someone breaks their end of the deal, it can be so heavy. Like, these can be big emotional, like, separations in relationships. You know, if someone becomes disloyal, it can be so heavy because it's tribal and we need everybody to follow those rules so that we can be fair and ensure that we're supported and all of the things. And so that can get a little messy with the friendship for a bargain. And something that we can know is that this gate, you know, we can change our behavior. We can become who we need to be. We can adapt in order to be with this person or work as a team. And that is something that this gate is willing to do in that emotional support. And so let's see. The hope to pain cycle of friendships, this is something that we can hit on too. So hope to pain cycles are natural in every relationship with a wave. So if you guys are riding an emotional wave, which is the majority of relationships on planet Earth, you're going to notice things go from hope to pain. And that is perfectly fine, because this hope to pain wave, as we ride it, it gives us the ability to gain clarity. And so maybe it's like this. It's real wavy. It's getting smaller. It's like, doo. It flatlines. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I know what we're going to do. I know what it is. I know. And so you have the ability to use this wave to see all the sides of the coin and arrive at a calm place that embodies all sides of the coin, right? But if we're up here and we're like, oh my gosh, we're so in love and da 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 da, and then we like do something crazy, right? Or if we're down here and we're like, I just can't stand you and like I'm leaving now, and we do something crazy, it's like if we can just be patient and ride that wave, it's showing us things, right? It's showing us things at the top and it's showing us things at the bottom, and those chemicals firing in our body, coloring the way that we see life, coloring the way that we see each other, it's showing us things. And so we can be patient, we can ride that wave, and we can let both the top and the bottom bring us closer together as we realize that, hey, like, I don't make that wave and you don't make that wave, and it's a choiceless thing that we experience. And so I guess I don't have to blame it on you, and I guess you don't have to blame it on me. Like, what if we rode in that wave together? Like, how crazy would that be, right? And so that is so cool. It's hard to go through the separations and the comings together that this wave creates, but once you can ride this wave with people, it can be really cool. And so I want to talk a little bit about the mutation too. We talked about this yesterday in 55.6. So we are gaining spirit awareness. We have this possibility now. And so I put a quote in with the title of this video, and it says, the real awakening of the human family will not happen until spirit awareness begins to flow on the planet. And so what is the spirit awareness? I don't think any of us can know, but I think that it's so much a part of these changes that we are going through and the mutation that we are coming into. And so once that mutation is had, we're on our material way, we gain this like spirit awareness, and it starts taking us through our nature. We become different. We become aware in a different way. And it's like an awareness that's kind of outside of our body. And it's a result of that material path we were taking, right? So we were walking that material path. We were making the resources for the family. And then if we get this mutation, I'm looking at it as a resource, because guess what? 55.6, it carries it right to the tribe. And it's like, all right, here we go. We got to get this mutation into the family now. We've got to set it up as a guideline, as a value, because this is what's next. And this is what we're going to need in our family to be, successful and to feel good and to live the life that we're here to live. And so, those fuel so many questions. Are we going to have bargains of spirit? Right? Like, are we going to need this spirit to make the material that we could make? How is it going to change our relationships? And is it becoming an important resource? Is it becoming available now? And so these are things that I absolutely love to watch, because I think that it's so important. And if we are changing and we don't know it, it's so easy to blame those changes on ourselves and just be like, oh, like, I'm feeling crazy today because I'm just crazy and I just need to be institutionalized, and it's like, what if there were some different changes going on. And so what I can tell you is that if you're experiencing funny things, work with life, ask life, what's going on? What do I need to see? Respond to the thing from your body. Let it bring you answers. Watch my videos, right? Because what I believe is that if we have awareness of what is going on, we can make it through all together and in as clean a way as possible, right? With as little emotional damage as possible. And we can put the people first. We can be like, yeah, we're changing, but like, let's change together. And you can be as messy as you are, and I'm as messy as I am, and that's okay. It's like these are the types of attitudes that we're going to need as we begin to break the current bargains that we have today. And so something that is going to be required to do this is that we have to stop judging and comparing. We are limited. Each person has unique limitations. And if I honor my limitations, they will put me in the right place with the right people because they're purposeful. And if I deny them and I'm like, ugh, it feels like I need to sleep every night, but I bet I could skip 2 nights so that I could do this, that, and the other. If I'm ignoring my limitations, like, it's not going to be pretty for me or anybody involved in my life. It's not going to be pretty for my kids or my husband or my family or my friends or my business. And so it's like those limitations, they are our perfection and they show us our difference. And if the family, can sink into these differences and can fully allow, maybe we can finally find peace. Maybe we can finally come into a more purposeful way of being and living, which I think is something that many, many people are looking for without even realizing what they're looking for right now. And so with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy these 6 days of 4037. I will be back tomorrow with the moons. You can find the rest of my videos on my YouTube page. It is Lacey Garza HD. And then I also have some session spots open this week. So if you would like to book a session, I think I've got 2 more left, and you can just hit me up a messenger. I would love to work with you, and I'll be back soon, guys. Bye. Have a great day.